So we'll leave Wade. Wade, by the way, not to overlook him, has one of the most literal pieces. We'll just take a quick look at it, as I do think it is absolutely a literal representation, but something that deserves a mention, equally so. Hey, well, I'm so glad you're here, and I wanted to present this work. As I was saying just a moment ago, perhaps the most literal representation of home that we have as a featured piece in this exhibition. Wade, for those of you who don't know, is an architect and contributed a piece to us of all 4 elevations of his home here in Middletown. It's a beautiful, beautiful hand-drafted architectural rendering. Obviously, it speaks to me. This is the sort of day in, day out stuff that I work with, and it resonates on so many levels, because not only does it show the intricacy, the complexity of home, the form, the structure, the technical demand of what it takes to create a home, it also pays beautiful homage to the skill of hand drafting, which maybe some of you are familiar with, but those of you who don't see these types of work very often, it's incredibly intricate and meticulous in its execution. Wade, I give you the floor. Tell us a little bit about this lovely home that you designed.
Well, thank you. And the exhibit has been amazing so far. I'm impressed with everybody. And I did know Lake County had it in it, but here it is. It's incredible. This piece, really, it's cool that it's about home, and Lisa reached out to me, and I didn't really have anything to offer. And then I thought, well, maybe this is something, because it clearly is literal, super literal. But it does speak to architecture back in the day, and even not that long ago when I was an architecture student. Architecture was art, and I believe I became an architect because in high school I had drafting classes, and I had drawing classes and art classes, and I loved it. And I think today I may not have become an architect if I was a student, because it's all computer. That's great, but it just takes a whole component out of it that I really, really love about it. So I thought for my house, because I lost my house in the Valley Fire, and I thought, well, I don't draw a lot anymore by hand. I do a lot of hand sketching with my work, lots and lots of it, but then I hand it off to people who do the working drawings, and they do it all on computer. I thought, well, it would be cool maybe for this last go for me, maybe I'll frame these one day and put them in my house. And so I thought, oh, I could share this. So architecture, a home to me is pretty literal. There's a lot of other art things happening tonight with the exhibit that show other ideas of home, but for me it is very literal, and it's shelter first and foremost. That makes it a refuge, and hopefully it makes it a sanctuary as well, if you can achieve that level of home. So that became more true to me after the fire, when I lost my house, how meaningful it is to have shelter that truly protects you from the elements, as well as working with the elements that are around you. So I feel like my house, which is now built, and I'm standing in it and loving it and raising my kids in it, and it's well designed. It's thoughtful in dealing with the challenges of living in a super hot Lake County. It does a good job with that. I think it's well designed to withstand the next wildfire. Houses, sort of on the boring side as an architect, houses are a bunch of components and tools that help us. It's kind of like a house is like a machine, and a good machine will help you live a really great life, a successful life, a secure life. So I think it's a good piece to add to the conversation in the gallery. And I really appreciate you guys letting it fall.
Absolutely. No, and it again, I think it's it's relevant to mention that houses perform for us. They have to function for us. They are tools and machines in which we live our daily lives. And at times we might take that quite for granted until, of course, there's an issue of loss. There's an incident, something that threatens our shelter, or even the functionality of our shelter. Whether it's a fire and that unimaginable loss of shelter, or even just something going wrong. We all know how that feels if suddenly you're without power, or there's a water issue, and it sort of shakes us a little bit. We really do take function for granted until it's taken from us. So it's being ever present about how blessed really we are to have shelter, to have homes that in fact often take care of us.
Indeed.
And lastly, I did a series of drawings by hand, and then I did some by the computer. But I love the home idea, and then of course this suits that. But the comprehensiveness of architecture as art shouldn't be dismissed, and it's maybe more dismissed now than it used to be, as I mentioned earlier, because architects did drawings. It was all about drawings. And I think, I don't know how you get more comprehensive artistically than that.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it's important to remember, and I think particularly in Lake County, where we have a tendency to forget about it, that, to think that the arts are fluff sometimes, which I know all of you don't feel that way or you wouldn't be here. But what Wade does is an applied art. And he had to study drawing just like I had to study drawing. And I went into fine arts and Wade went into an applied art. And so, and Nicola is in an applied art with interior design, and there's graphic design. And when I teach children, and when we have field trips here at MAC, when we're able to, these are things that I let the children know of so that they know that their career pathways they may be inspired by an activity that we do with them here at MAC, and maybe it will take them into a whole other world of how do I apply those talents and interests that I have in the visual world. So thank you, Wade, for being a part of our exhibit.
And I thank you guys so much for MAC being in our town. It's this golden gem that we have, and you guys are amazing at curating it. So thank you. And I really appreciate being here tonight. Thank you.
So I'd like to move on to the wonderful work of a returning MAC artist, Yelena Zavaronkova. Yelena, I think you're with us, aren't you? That's as many of you may know, Yelena Zavaronkova is a highly, highly skilled photographer who does images of great subtlety, very evocative, very memory-like or dreamlike. And these two pieces, 33, are called Morning and Evening. And I think they, again, are very evocative of the elements of home, how we feel in the morning, how we feel in the evening. The light changes between each of them. They stand so beautifully, one next to the other. One sort of seems that kind of first break of dawn. There's early kind of morning stirrings as we get our day started. The second being the evening, where there's a definitive change of light. Just beautiful. So
on the opposite wall, Michael, is a green tea photograph.
Oh, right. Yeah, Tea at the Lake. It's a great piece.
Just beautiful.
Yep.
By the way,
really
the shelter in place, the laws keep changing, but right now we're able to receive guests as a retail place. We're an art retail place. And so we encourage you to come down and see the exhibit Friday through Sunday from 11 to 5 p.m. and see the work in person for yourself.
Hey, Judy. Hello. How are you? Judy has a number of really beautiful pieces really wonderful, accessible format. They work so well in series. I just love the containment of the size, but yet the great depth and complexity to her entire, conceptualization of the imagery and the visual and the color. Maybe you could speak a little bit, Judy, about some of the work here. I think we have 7 or 8 pieces from you.
8 pieces.
8 pieces, and all really quite different from one another. Very different color spectrum as well. Talk to us a little bit about this set of 4. Remind me of the title of these pieces, Judy.
Boxed In.
Okay.
Nanny's Memories.
Oh, right.
Stepping out into the kitchen. And Nanny's Notes.
Wonderful. Yes, really. Yeah, it's the nannies. I'm intrigued by the nannies pieces. Can you tell me what's the backstory there?
Well, I had been, along with my brother and sister, dealing with my mother's Alzheimer's, and previous to that, my dad's Alzheimer's. And my other pieces are pretty dark, and I really didn't want to speak about these paintings because they were so personal, especially the other 4. But I wanted to redirect my darkness and bring out the light in some of my mother's memories. Her memory is gone, and we were cleaning out her house, and I came across a note from my nephews and my brother and his wife. Here it is right here. Can you see it? Anyway, the nanny's memories incorporate.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the other 2. One is Emerald Ghost, and
the colors are amazing.
Those are more about the dark part.
Yes.
It was after my dad's death. The top one, Emerald Ghost, has a picture. Well, it's just a representation of my mother sitting in the dark with daddy's ghost. And the figure on the bottom is where she's almost home. She's actually not doing well right now, and we anticipate that she will not be with us in a short while. And she and my dad were both struggling with the sense of losing their home because they were losing their minds. And these represent looking for home or feeling like it's time to go home. And they could never find their homes. And so that's why I felt like I needed to incorporate some of the fond memories that they had in the lighter pieces, that when they lived in Havasu and played with the nephew, their grandchildren. Actually, they were very fond of all their grandchildren. And a couple of the pieces, I did image transfers with some of the notes and the drawings of her grandchildren. So they're all very personal paintings. So I really was choosing not to speak. So I didn't think I could make it through the little talk. Anyway.
Well, you've done beautifully to express to us the great depth of memory, as well as the honoring of their presence that comes through in the pieces. I'm always so deeply intrigued by your work and the level of depth that you're able to convey, and really relatively a quite small space can sense a great outpouring of not only expression, but it comes from a resonant and very deep place. And we're so fortunate to have work of your caliber be a part of this. I enjoy it immensely. And it's very brave to tell the personal stories behind what we do and what inspires us to express where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Judy.